Hello. We're here to talk to you today about Tesla.
Tesla.
We love Tesla.
Not Nikola Tesla, but
the car company, right?
Yeah, Teslas are sweet.
Car company, Tesla. Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Just kidding. Normally, though, we love Teslas. We actually talk about them a lot. We're consumed with electrics, Tesla.
But I promise this channel is not purely about Teslas, but there's so much going on, though, that we got to talk about it.
But normally we talk about new Teslas. What's coming out? What's coming out now? What's coming down the line? What's going to be coming out in 5 years? Today we want to talk about buying a used Tesla. We're getting to that point in the market where Tesla's been around for 3-5 years now? Just kidding. No, they've actually been around for a while. We know that, but really they've been relevant. It's real relevant in the market for maybe 4 or 5 years since the Model S came out. Now the Model 3, which is a more commonplace type of car most people can afford to buy.
Yeah.
So before we get into that conversation today, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Blinker Fluid TV.
Do it now.
You don't want to miss out.
Do it now, or I'm going to come hunt you down and give you a wet willy.
What willy is it?
Or a swirly, whatever. Whichever one you like the least. So definitely take a second, hit the button, and we'll be back. So as Brian mentioned, we normally focus on new cars, the next best thing. And the cool thing about the next best thing, which is what?
Model Y.
The Model Y.
And the Cybertruck, but the one that's coming out immediately is the Model Y.
We have so much to talk about the Cybertruck. We've got a whole nother video coming for that. But definitely the Model Y is coming, and why that's so significant, and there's a lot of reasons it's so significant, but it's significant because whether or not you're buying a Model Y, it affects a lot of people in lots of different ways. So I guess, like you said, the Tesla really became relevant back in
2015, 16, when the S really started getting some traction.
Yeah, so they officially came out in 12 and 13. People were kind of hesitant to buy, because they were concerned, this is a brand new company. If it's a freaking startup tech company, you'd never buy. I mean, I did. You'd never buy a phone that had no track record.
Right.
And speaking of Model S, there are 10,000 people out there around the world who have had confidence in us and have reservations for a car they've never even driven. Most of them have never even sat in it. And there are 10,000 of them out there who have inspired us to make sure today happens. So we have a message today. On behalf of all Roadster owners, Model S reservation holders, every employee here today, every employee out there on the web visiting us today, I have 3 words. We did it! That's right.
So, I don't know, I think it's kind of cool. I mean, if you, right now, any of the cars on the market, if money didn't really matter, what Tesla would you buy currently?
I love the Model S.
Yeah?
I 100% love it. If I had the money, P100D.
Yeah.
I bet an 85 I wouldn't complain about. I think I would go a little newer, probably 2016, 2017 newer. So you have the autopilot and you have all the newest technology in it.
I'd like that.
Got to be the D, the dual motor, because I like all-wheel drive. I need that. Go up in the mountains a lot in the winter. I love
Makes a difference.
Love to do some of my winter sports. So,
well, you might be in luck, and here's why. So, as we've kind of alluded to a little bit, there's a lot of changes happening, and because of the fact that there's the Model Y coming out, we don't know who's going to be buying the Model Y. We know they've got, 100, at least 100. Tesla's been really quiet about the pre-orders that they have.
Yeah.
The only information we have is at least 100,000. So if they sell 100,000 units, who's buying those cars? I mean, is it people that are already currently in a Tesla? Is it your new people who haven't had a Tesla before? Like, what do you think? I mean,
it's priced pretty well.
Yeah.
It's comparable to like a mid-size crossover in my mind, right?
Like an Explorer or something like that?
Not even Explorer, kind of. Well, yes, but almost the size of like those smaller Audi SUVs, like the Q3.
Yeah.
Maybe a Honda Pilot size, Honda CR-V type of size. CR-V is obviously the smaller one. What else am I thinking of? Toyota RAV4.
Yeah,
definitely much nicer Toyota RAV4.
Well,
so I think, but then you can. It's kind of in that middle market where you appeal to people that want a smaller SUV.
Yeah, definitely.
But that also want luxury. I mean, it's a luxury vehicle.
It really is, but like the crazy
it's better
thing
than
about
a Toyota RAV4 is my point.
Yeah, it's not really like I mean I haven't looked at the RAV4 numbers at all, but I'm willing to bet their high end RAV4s are pretty comparable. And Toyota's a company that's been around for a long time. People trust it. So
I guess I'm just speaking from my experience, and I'm not trying to bag on Toyota here. It's not my point. Having driven a Toyota RAV4, it felt a little on the
gutsy side or gutless.
Just kind of a mass market vehicle type of feel. You know what I mean? It's like they put these out to sell 500,000 units or however many they sell, rather than appealing to people that are looking for a nice SUV. It's just a mass market type of SUV. Does that point make sense? I mean, I wasn't impressed with the doors. They were tinny. They sounded cheap. Just the workmanship fields. And I'm not actually I love Toyotas.
Yeah, they're good
I think
cars.
they make good vehicles. I've owned a few of them. I'm not bagging on Toyota by saying that. My point is, I think that the Tesla Model Y starts to appeal towards maybe a different type of buyer, like somebody wants something like the RAV4 or the CR-V, but wants something nicer.
Yeah.
And almost crossing into that market of like a Audi buyer.
Yeah, I think
so. Or a BMW X3 buyer.
I agree. I feel like we're gonna put a poll out there because I'm really curious the kind of people that are actually genuinely buying these cars. The people who are interested. I mean, look back at the Model S when it first came out. I mean, they said you could buy it for like $50,000, but I mean, you really can't buy a Model S for less than about $80,000.
Right. New anyway.
Yeah, I mean, new. The Model 3, I mean, they said it was going to be a $35,000 car.
Let's start at 35.
But it's like 41 for like, legitimately.
Right.
And then the Model Y
is the. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
But that base Model 3, does that even include autopilot? Does that include? I think you pay extra for some of those things, don't you?
Don't believe it does. Or maybe I need to look at numbers again, but.
So it's not dual motor.
It's not dual for sure.
No,
it's not performance.
We know that. No. It's not your performance. It's your standard range,
your base,
of course.
They call it the long range. It's like 310 or something.
It's not bad.
It's not terrible, but so you've got the Model S, right, which is about $85,000 new. The Model 3, which is about $40,000 to start. Well, I guess you can buy a Model S for about $75,000.
Yeah.
And then you got the Model X, which like you can't buy new for less than like $85,000.
Kind of the same deal as the S, right?
Yep. But now the Y. So like the whole reason behind the Y is that there's a lot of people Tesla expects to outsell all their other cars with this one car.
Well,
so
I think obviously they're following the trend because more and more people are moving toward SUVs.
Look at
sedans
Ford.
are going out of style. I actually like sedans. He has the Model S sedan.
Yeah.
I like sedans, but I can see the appeal of a crossover, a smaller SUV.
Yeah.
But even in the sense of the Y, that's a third row, isn't it?
Yeah, that's actually I was just thinking about that, like that technically the Model 3 and the Model Y are pretty much the same cars as far as I understand.
Yes.
The Model 3 has 15 cubic feet of storage, and the Model Y has like 60, that's crazy difference. But they really look the same.
It's just taller. It's just got a.
I don't know if they use the same chassis.
No, it is. It's built on the same.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Well, it really when we were in California the other day, I saw in front of us. I saw in my lap it was a Model Y, because I thought for sure it was a Model 3. I'm like, there's no way, because like the Model 3 is not a hatchback. But it was definitely a little taller. It was not a Model X, because I just had a Model X previously.
Model X, yeah.
And it was interesting, and I love the Model Y, and I don't love it because I'm going to buy it. I love it because of one thing.
The market disruptor?
Yeah, kind of.
Is that the reason?
I think the reason is, I mean, if you are in the market for a used car, if you're in the market for a used Tesla, this is the time to buy. The reason why is, when were they originally expected to launch the Model Y? Do you remember? It's like late fall this year.
Yeah.
So there was an announcement just a few days ago that they're 6 months ahead of schedule.
Wow.
So they're going to be in driveways the first quarter of this next year. So
that's
like,
unheard of for Tesla, because they're usually behind schedule,
they're
right?
way behind. Like they're like 6 months to like nine years behind schedule, but 6 months ahead of schedule.
Good.
So what that does, and obviously it's because of the Gigafactory.
Well, I know
their batteries.
They've got a new one out in China.
There's a new one in China. They just had it approved. Yeah. So with that, what does that do for the market? What does it do for the other cars? What's happening to, if we've got a whole bunch of people buying this Model Y, because that's where most of the people in the market want to be, what's happening now to all those Model S's, the X's, and the 3s? What percentage of people are going to be trading over?
It's an interesting point. I haven't really thought that way the whole way through, but if I had to just, he's put me on the spot here, what do I think?
Yeah, what do you think?
As the mass market, and maybe that's you, starts moving from sedan, especially like a smaller Honda Civic type vehicle, to grow like something that's a smaller commuter car, right? Gets good gas mileage. That's the reason you own it.
Yeah.
Right? So those type of buyers maybe went for the Model 3, or maybe have held out thinking, I'd like to buy one, but it's just not quite right for me. Maybe the Model Y is. Because now you've got a crossover. So they don't call it a crossover, but in my mind it's a crossover because it's that size of vehicle.
Well, and the interesting thing about it, I think if you've got a lot of people, there's a segment in the market right now where you've got the Equinox, you've got the what's just bigger than Equinox, I forget.
You got GMC Acadia, you've got your Chevy Blazers, you said Equinox, right?
Yeah,
Honda Pilot, seat 7.
So you've got all these people that are like right there in the, they're not like a full size car,
right?
And that's where most people want to be. They feel more comfortable because they're higher up.
Yeah. You've
got all-wheel drive usually.
Yeah.
You've got a little bit more storage capacity. So if you can have a fully electric car for like 50 grand and replace all that and not have a minivan, that's pretty cool.
Well, you make a fair point, because I know for a lot of people, and kind of I think I would put myself in the same boat there, where you have one vehicle that you use to commute to work every day because you want to save on gas mileage. You're not going to take your big Chevy Tahoe to work necessarily, or your minivan or whatever it is.
Trip or something.
It's a big vehicle. It might take a lot of gas, right? Yeah. So you use that on the weekends, or for, like you said, when you go on vacations, right? Yeah. Now you kind of have the best of both worlds, where with the Model Y, especially with the longer range they're getting out of the Teslas now, right? What's the Model Y going to get? To 370 now?
I think it's actually just shy of what the Model 3 is at.
Okay.
Because it's a bigger car, same capacities, it's going to get a little bit less range.
So you have a vehicle that's going to get good range, 300 plus.
About 300, yeah.
Right? You have all the capabilities of an SUV. So now you don't have to worry about commuting anymore, especially if you have a way to charge up at work, or
you're not going to
worry about it.
You're not going to tow with it, definitely. Like you shouldn't with the minivan, you shouldn't with a small SUV like that anyway.
And to be honest, the towing is probably my main reason not to purchase yet.
Yeah. So you've got functionality with the minivan. You've got style with the SUV. And then what's the third missing element? Well, how about performance? So what if you could have a car that has more functionality than a minivan, more style than an SUV, and more performance than a sports car? That's the Model X. So one of the main inventions of the Model X is something we call the Falcon Wing doors. So, and driving the car is Franz von Holzhausen, our head of design. And then we've also got 6 of the key engineers and designers behind the Model X. You'll notice these are not small people.
All right, so with all this talk about the Model Y, this is one thing that's been buggy. It's been on my mind for weeks. And especially now that they've announced that the Model Y is coming out 6 months sooner.
Yeah.
So when we had, so my Tesla was recently in the shop, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
I had a door handle while we were down at SEMA. Mm-hmm. The door handle got stuck out.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to go back in, and so you couldn't get in the car on that one side without going, reaching in and pulling the handle out. So I went to Tesla, had that replaced. It was actually, luckily enough, it was done under warranty. So while it was there, they're like, hey, we noticed this other one acting up. Can we fix that one too? And I'm like, please.
It's covered.
Yeah. So I love it. Like, I've heard horror stories about people who've had issues at dealership, the Tesla getting repairs and stuff. But I had a great experience, and I love it. But while we were doing that, I drove a Tesla. I drove a Model X.
You drove the performance version.
The P100D. Yeah, I about died, and all I could think about was how incredible this car was and how much I would love to own one. But for like 80 grand, like that's more than I think most people, your average American people, can afford.
Yeah.
Even with your gas savings, it's just not feasible.
No, at that point, it's a luxury vehicle. It's a want, not a need.
It's not a necessary thing.
So,
well, with that, I got thinking, what about the rest of the market? What about the rest of the Teslas? At what point will they be affordable? Because my car, the whole reason I bought my car was because it was cheap. I bought it's used. It's a 2013, and it had 50,000 miles on it, and I bought it for 35 grand.
It's a great deal considering brand new. It was 75.
84.9 or something was the sticker. So that's pretty crazy.
And I've been in this vehicle many times. it still feels like an $85,000 car.
Yeah.
It performs.
It does, yeah.
Like an $85,000. It doesn't have the range that it used to, but
yeah. I wonder, when we were looking at, when we had the Model X, my wife, I never thought she'd be convinced that she wanted to buy a Tesla because she made fun of me and refused to drive my car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but when she drove that, she took it to Costco because I had the other car, and she's like, she sends me a text and she says it's Costco approved, and I'm like, sweet, let's buy one. So I was like, maybe we can afford a used one, because if my car was half price, but it's a 6-year-old car, maybe we could find a Model X that's a few years old that's 50, 60 grand. That was not the case. That was not the case at all. So that's what kind of got me thinking about all this, is what's going on with the Model Y. So when the Model Y comes out, there's going to be a bunch of people who people who wanted to buy a Tesla, they bought an affordable Model 3, but honestly, I've talked to people who own the Model 3.
Yeah.
They get in my car, or they see my car, and they're dissatisfied with how much space is not in the Model 3.
Right.
So having the Model Y gives you more space.
So are you suggesting that people that own a Model 3, let's say they own one for 2-3 years, that they might upgrade to
100%
Model Y?
Exactly.
So I don't think it'd be your one that just got their delivery 6 months ago.
No.
But people that have had their Model 3 for 2-3 years now. Yeah.
If you consider the fact that if you only could afford the entry level Model 3, that's probably not going to be an upgrade you're going to be able to make.
Yeah.
Because the base Model Y is $48,000 with no options.
And right now, base Model 3 is what, 41? You said?
Yeah. Last time I looked at configuring one, it was about 41.
What about used?
So I did look at the used prices, and that was the most interesting part about all this is so a used Model S right now, you can buy a 3-year-old Model S for, let me pull up my numbers so I'm not giving bad numbers.
The Model S is a little older.
So used Model S, that's a 2013 or 16, so 3-year-old car, is about $40,000 with about 60,000 miles.
$40,000. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Obviously, it's used, but again, like I said earlier, I would buy a 3 or 4-year-old, used Model S, possibly over a newer vehicle.
Would you buy it over a 2018 Model 3 with 10 to 15,000 miles for $50,000?
I just like the S better.
I agree, but like with these numbers, so look at these numbers.
But like you said, would I consider a Model Y? Yeah, I think I would.
So right now, like these are the numbers right now, and I want to compare these 6 months from now because I guarantee there's going to be so many people that have the Model Y. They bought it because Model 3 because it was cheap. They bought it because it was $40,000.
Right.
And they spent a little bit extra on options.
Yeah.
But they need more space. Yep. And so now they moved to the Model Y.
Right.
Now you've got a whole bunch of Model 3s sitting on the market
with some used Model 3s.
Yeah, so now you've got a supply and demand issue. There's not as much demand for those cars, so the price is going to come down. So
and the market's just now starting to get really saturated with Model 3s because they're really starting to fill all the orders that they have.
So Model Y starts at $48,000 with a 5-seat configuration. To go to 7 seats, it's $51,000. And the Model X, you can get the 7-seater configuration with 3-year-old Model X with $55,000 to $60,000 with about 40,000 to 60,000 miles. So
how much did you say again?
$55,000 to $60,000.
That's not bad
for a used Model X. So I believe that if you're in the market for a Tesla and you don't have to have a brand new car, the second quarter of next year is your time to buy, because there's a lot. And as the Cybertruck comes out, it's going to change too. Now it's going to be a really big change.
One of the considerations, though, is warranty, reliability, repairs.
Yeah,
and you kind of addressed that already.
A little bit.
You got a 2015, 13.
13. It's old.
2013.
One of the first cars.
But you were able to get all these repairs covered under warranty.
So I don't know what the extended warranty looks like and how you go about getting that. I believe it's an added option that you can get. But my car had 55,000 miles on it when I took it in and had some work done. And they replaced 3 handles. They installed a new TPMS system in there because the old one was bad. Yeah. And they updated it because they wanted to update it to the new technology. That's what was going wrong with it. Yeah. And they flashed the computer. So like normally that would have cost each door handle is like $1,000. So like you don't want to own a Tesla out of warranty necessarily. No. Like any car, but it's like a luxury car. Yeah. So like it's like an Audi. If you had a problem with an Audi, you're probably $1,000 anyway. You are easy for anything. Yeah. So true. I don't know. Like I'm just curious to see what it ends up being, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Because I usually am right. But what do you think? Like, if you could buy any car, we're not even talking Cybertruck, because I feel like the 4 cars that are currently on the market are close enough to compare that the same person might buy any of those cars. Right. The Cybertruck is a whole different beast. Yeah, absolutely. So what do you think, Bri? I've got my opinions. I don't own a Tesla. I've always kind of leered at them from a distance. Yeah. I love them. Which one would I buy? Well, if I had my druthers, I think I'd go with the Model S over the X. There's one reason only that I wouldn't buy the Model X, and I've heard bad things about the Falcon doors. Yeah. It's a cool vehicle. It's an awesome vehicle. I love the Model S. It's got plenty of space. It's a pretty good sized sedan. It's comfortable. And you can get it in a 7-seat configuration. You can get a 7-seat. He has it in 7-seat configuration. He's one of the rare ones that do. Yeah, there's not very many. I don't think I'd buy it in that configuration. I think the 5-seat would be fine for me. Well, it's because you drive an Acura. But we're curious, what would you buy? If you had to buy a Tesla right now, what would you buy? Do you feel comfortable buying a used car? If you don't, because we're going to be doing another segment coming up soon on buying a used Tesla and what to look out for. So what questions do you have? What are you concerned about when it comes to buying a used Tesla? We'll bring that to you very shortly.
And let us know what information you're looking for. First, we want your comments on what you'd like to buy, what you're looking for if you would buy a Tesla. But tell us your comments about what you think in general about Tesla. What do you think about the EV market, the way it's going? What information can we bring to you that would help you make a decision in regards to this topic?
Agreed.
That's what we do, so let us know.
We definitely want to bring all the information we can as much as we can, as fast as we can. And you guys are the reason we have this channel, and we really appreciate you watching. And before we leave, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hit the button right now. Like I said, I'll come hunt you down and give you Wet Willie.
And don't forget to check your blinker fluid.
We're out.